Okay, this video I'm going to talk about 3 ways to be free in a world that is very difficult at the moment. Okay, so before I start, if you do like my content and you want to see more from me, then please do subscribe, hit the notification bell and leave a comment and let me know what you think about this video. Okay, so how to be free in an unfree world. Okay, so 3 reasons that I'm going to talk about, and I hope that will give some value to you and maybe some deeper understanding about what you can do. So the 3 reasons I'm going to talk about, they are search for meaning, number 1. Number 2, speak truth. And number 3, reject fear. And yeah, they all sound easy to say, don't they? But in essence, whilst not being easy, nothing could be simpler. Okay, so the first one, search for meaning. What does meaning mean is the first question that you may ask. What is meaning? What is it? It's essence, it's purpose, it's direction. It's finding out who we are. And here's the crucial aspect of meaning. It's easier to find out who we are in a time of turmoil. It certainly is for me. And I do believe that suffering teaches us. It's taught me and is teaching me. I've learned more about myself in the last year than I have in all the previous 37 years combined of my life. The crucial aspect to meaning for me is to understand that it is linked to suffering, and it is also to understand that life is suffering. Life is many things. Life is full of joys, it's full of happy times, sad times, but life is suffering. As soon as we're born, no matter who we are, how much money we've got, what country we're born into, what any of our external circumstances, we will suffer. However, that suffering is there to teach us. We can grow, we can develop, we can learn through that suffering. And the suffering can take many forms. It can take a psychological form. It could be loss. It could be change, and change is the big one that a lot of people now are, well, no, everybody is being subjected to a world that is changing beyond all comprehension and so quickly, and that is unsettling and that is hard to deal with. And on that note, I think it's important for me to say that the process that I've gone through in the last few months has been one that has been incredibly difficult. So I'm not saying searching and finding meaning is easy. No, it's not. It's difficult. It means acknowledging what we're actually seeing. It means opening ourselves up, being vulnerable, accepting to a large degree what's happening, and then being brave enough to embrace what's happening, but in the most truthful way that we can. And for me, that process unravelled in the summer, I would say, when I realised what was going on. I realised that our world was changing beyond all recognition, that we were entering into a period of uncharted and dangerous, uncharted waters, dangerous territory, that there was a existential threat to all of us, and our society was going to change and was changing beyond all recognition. And that led to me to something close to a psychological breakdown, I'll be honest with you. It did, because once you see it, once you realise it, it's such a profound experience. And when you realise that the world you thought you knew is no longer. So what I want to say is there'll be people watching this who are maybe going through that experience themselves, or who've gone through it, or are maybe watching other people go through that experience. And I think my message is hang in there. It's a process of, I don't know, what is it? A process of discovery, really. But at the end of it, when you come out of it, you discover an inner strength you didn't realise that you had, an inner resilience and a fortitude. And as other people go through that process as well, which they will, and this is actually a bit of a worry to me, because at some point everybody, I think, is going to go through this process of psychological turmoil. We need to, the ones of us who've already gone through it and know what this world now is, need to be there for those people when they're angry, when they're upset, when they're terribly depressed. Or if you're going through that yourself, just remember, it is necessary. That is the suffering that I'm talking about. Once you complete that process and then come out the other side of that depression, you will feel a lightness to you and say, okay, right, now how can I help this world? So, and meaning as well, what else is it? Well, it's connection, it's self-reflection, it's understanding. And I talk about understanding, it's understanding our pain as well. I just want to use my own example. And my own example of psychological pain. Also physical pain as well. For example, right now, and this may be linked in some way to, yeah, I'm still feeling stressed at the moment. And I know when I'm stressed, it actually affects me physically. And, you know, I've actually had a pretty bad headache now for about 6 weeks, particularly across the eyes. An hernia operation that hasn't quite healed. It's very painful. My back where I've had operations, very painful. Yeah, at the same time, I feel psychologically very strong. Even though I'm in that physical pain, and to a degree, some psychological difficulties as well. I do feel resilient. I do feel like I'm one of the people in society who is strong at the moment. It's understanding that psychological and physical pain, that we can learn from it. It's trying to teach us something. For me, the physical pain is teaching me that, okay, it's teaching me that it's giving me strength actually. And it's giving me a broader perspective as well on what else is going on in this world, and that my pain is merely a reason for me to continue to grow and to gain strength. So meaning, it's taking action, it's creativity, it's connecting with others, it's trying to be of service to others. It's all of these things. It's recognizing that suffering is necessary, and that the suffering gives us the strength, the meaning, the understanding, the resilience, the perspective. So if we can change how we look at suffering and try to draw out and tease out the lessons that the suffering takes us, that there for me is meaning, that is purpose, that is essence. Okay, so that's meaning. Number 2 is truth. I talk about truth a lot. I'll say again, there's no such thing as far as I'm concerned as the truth. The truth, I see the truth as doctrinal, as religion, as ideology, as these kind of like these stories that are bound by purity, and human beings are impure. So there is no such thing. That's why I don't follow a religion. I don't follow any ideology. I am passionate though about personal truth, not the truth, personal truth. I do believe that that it is possible to be united around a lie and exposing a lie and demolishing a lie. To unite around the truth, no, but we can all unite around personal truth and thus build a better society. Personal truth, speaking your truth, this is the most simple of all concepts, if you think about it. Because if you think, when do you speak your personal truth? When do you actually speak what you think? And I think now, in this world, the only way that we can build a better world and push back against the creeping totalitarianism that is enveloping us, it's not about looking round. Oh, they're going to do something, they're going to get us out of this mess. No, it's not. It's about us all individually seeking our personal truth and then speaking it. Personal truth. Just say what you think. Now, I did a video a couple of weeks ago called Do You Know What Not to Do? You'll be able to find it in my list of videos if you search for Do You Know What Not to Do? And this was a video inspired by the story of Socrates, who said that it was as important to know what not to do, sometimes more important to know what not to do than what to do. And at a time now of when governments, states and the media is demanding compliance, unquestioning obedience. That's when we need to know ourselves. Instinctively, we need to not do what our, let's call it our inner God, our higher power is telling us not to do. And be honest, anyone who's watching this, who is following rules that they know deep down on an intuitive level are wrong, then why? And the best way that I can sum up personal truth is to speak personal truth for the rest of the world, and particularly for the next generation. I passionately believe that every generation has a responsibility to ensure that the next generation has the same privileges and rights as they do. And there is a difference between rights and privileges, and we are in danger of losing both. In fact, we've already lost. It's like, how do we get them back now? How do we get them back so that the next generation can enjoy the same freedoms as us, the same liberties as us, have the same opportunities as us, have the right to live in a world that's not governed by fear? And I'll come on to fear. When you speak your personal truth, you are free. When you live in accordance to what you believe in on the most fundamental and spiritual and intuitive level, you are free, regardless of what is going on in the world. And it's interesting because people can be in the most oppressive, tyrannical, violent circumstances, yet still be free. Because there's one thing the government can't control, and it's what goes on. They try to, and they succeed with propaganda. It's what goes on here. It's what goes on here and here, in your head and in your heart. And that is deciding what is right and what is wrong, regardless of what we're told. If you can decide yourself what is right, or choose what is right and what is wrong, and then act on it or not act on it, you are free. You are under nobody's control. You could be, yes, it involves taking risk. It involves sacrifice. But speaking personal truth, that is sacrifice. Speaking truth is sacrifice. You'll be hated, but you'll also be respected by others. For every person that hates you, somebody else will be inspired and respected for you, but you will be doing it for the next generation. Because only in us being honest with ourselves and projecting our honesty and our truth on what we think of our world now, where we are and where we're going. Only if enough of us do that, will the next generation of children be able to live in a world that is something comparable to what our world's been? Think about that. Speaking truth is critical. And I passionately believe not enough people are speaking truth at the moment. It is so paramount, so essential, so critical to our very existence as a society. Also, it is a matter of life and death. And I'm not exaggerating. I can't put it in stark enough terms how truth at a time of tyranny, personal truth, is critical. You know what my thoughts are? I will never bow down to tyranny. I will never do what the state tells me to do when I know it is wrong. And if I have to pay the price for that, so be it, because I will be free. I'll be able to look in the mirror and know that I did the right thing. And please don't let me, I hope I'm not coming across here as I've got all the answers. I'm doing the right thing. No, it's not like that. I've have very many flaws. I could be doing a hell of a lot more myself. I question my own take on things all the time, and I could be a much better person all around. I am on that journey myself. But what I'm talking about is the most basic of requirements for us now is to speak truth. And I don't care who people are, I don't care what they've done, what their background is. If people are standing up against tyranny through speaking their own personal truth, they are my friend. they are on the right side of history. So speak truth. Do it for the children, if nothing else. Number 3, reject fear. Tyranny can only exist through first spreading fear through a population. You must make enough people scared in order to impose rules on them that they'll accept. And they must be scared in order to do that. And I see it. I see. When I look with my own very eyes, and that's always the best way of interpreting the world, not through what others are saying, not through them, certainly not through the media, not through social media, it's through your own very eyes, first-hand experience. I see it in society. I see those who are scared and those who aren't. And the ones who are scared are filtering literally everything through one lens. One lens, we know what that lens is. And the ones who are seeing life as a kaleidoscope of colours, are filtering their experiences through different parameters, through different lenses, through different filters. Fear. We need to choose to live our lives governed not by fear but by something else. For me, that is meaning. It's not hope for me, it's not optimism, it's not even positivity, because I don't feel those things yet. When I do, when I see enough people are speaking truth, being brave, then I will feel positive. I'll feel like there's a proper movement. I will be the most positive and optimistic person there is. I really will. For the time being, I am being guided by meaning, an inner God, if you want to call it that, without getting too spiritual about it. But I am certainly not governed by fear. No, I reject fear. I reject state and media imposed fear. Am I scared? Yes. But am I being guided by fear? No. And there's one of the most interesting analyses I've ever heard to do with fear is whether a fear is authentic or inauthentic. And the example this person used was an authentic fear is something that's tangible, maybe that you can actually touch, or that's present and that you can see. For example, standing up on a stage to talk to a theatre full of people, public speaking. Well, that's an authentic fear. It's happening. It's real. There's the people. There's the stage. There's you. You've got to speak. Or you're in the African savannah maybe, and a lion comes out from behind a rock and it wants to kill you. Well, there you go. You can touch the lion. You can see the lion. That's an authentic fear. Or you're on a plane and the plane's in trouble and the captain comes on and says, yeah, we're in a bit of trouble here. Brace for landing. Okay, that's an unauthentic fear because you could die, the plane crashes. Then there's the inauthentic fears. So what is an inauthentic fear? Okay, well, it might be if I go outside, I might get hit by a car. Okay, well, that's not actually, you're projecting what might happen in your head. If I step outside, I might get hit by a car. And okay, not many people will have that fear because we're conditioned to go outside and we subconsciously process that risk already. Yeah, could get hit by a car. It's a minimal chance. Now, the same thing applies to the situation that we're all facing now. Okay, if I do this, I might catch a virus. If I do this activity, somebody else might catch the virus, then that person may die. Okay, and there is some logic to it, don't get me wrong, there is some logic to that stance. But to what point are we going to be guided by the fear that if that happens, all else stops? So that we let one fear dictate absolutely everything else, eliminate all other fears, eliminate all other risks, and certainly eliminate all other pleasures, freedoms, liberties, all in the name of evading one factor due to a fear that has been constructed around it. So have a think about fear. What is real and what isn't? What might happen? Yes, you could catch a disease, not just the one that we know all about. Yes, that could happen. Okay, you can be scared of that, but you don't need to choose to be governed by that fear. You don't need to choose for all of your behaviours to be governed, to be dictated to you by that one fear. You can choose something else. You can realise that there are, or remember that there are, well, there's other things that can kill you. You know, we have a strange relationship now with the concepts of life and death. And it's remembering that only in embracing fear, taking risks, can we be free. And only when we're free can we then have the pleasures of life given back to us. So only in choosing to be guided by something other than fear. You choose. For me, it's meaning. For you, it could be optimism, positivity. It could be courage, whatever. For me, it's meaning. What is it for you? But don't choose to be governed by fear. Fear is destructive. It spreads quicker than any virus. It changes who people are. It changes their very moral compass. It changes them for the worse. The moment that you're consumed by fear, you're no longer a use to society. You're certainly not going to leave a legacy, and you're certainly not going to contribute to a world for the next generation of children that they are going to want to live in. So choose, reject fear, be brave, speak truth, reject fear. So that's my message. Please let me know what you think about what I've said. 22-minute video now, so I'm going to go. But that's my message for today. Okay, I hope you're good. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.